Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Now for today's video I'm actually going to go through the life staff, and this forms a part of multiple primary builds. Now here's the one thing, the life staff can be your primary weapon in only one build, that's the healer, but the life staff on its own can be your secondary piece for a solo runner, for a paladin, and for multiple other reasons. You can actually just run a life staff in your secondary. Now a paladin is one of the best examples. A paladin can use the life staff for up to 3 different usages. Now obviously I'm not running a proper paladin build. I'm not going to be doing anything crazy or to the point for a paladin build here, but let's just go through this as the two-part that it is. So there are 2 ways in which you can actually orientate yourself as a healer. You can be focused primarily for the defense of your team, following the protector line. That increases your amount of fortify, that increases your resistance to damage, it increases your survivability. It's good to put this on a tank. However, the critical part to this is it only extends the time that it takes to break a tank's holding stamina. While on the other hand, you need healing a lot, because a tank's stamina will be broken at least every 40 to 45 seconds. So a tank can only hold for that small amount of time before their resistance is broken. Obviously, in order to hold these things together, you need to put in 1 or 2 extra pieces, and this is where things get crazy. Now when it comes to each of these builds, there are certain places where they are used, and there are other places where they are just simply not used at all. For example, the healing ability is a very good usage for a primary healing build. That means if your entire purpose is to keep your team alive because you have a lot of forward facing DPS, you have 2 crowd controls and a melee class DPS, then you're going to keep yourself in the full healing sector. Keeping a protector on will allow them to take slightly less damage, but remember, they don't have heavy blocks, they don't have a heavy stamina bar to hold on to for resistance. They're going to instantly get broken in that sense, and they're going to take a massive amount of damage. So increased healing helps them big time. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize is these special skills that fall under the last part of your subclasses are generally only good if you have the full subclass learned. Now obviously you can jump over and mix them up, but then you don't get these masterclass skills. Now I'm calling them masterclass skills because they have fantastic pieces to add to them. Now another thing to note is when it comes to the use of healers, there's single person healing, which is going to require you to just either heal yourself constantly or add a fortify and keep yourself healing as you're moving. Another method is to just keep the healing of sacred ground in one spot so that you can keep taking on that heal at a nice good rate. Those are 2 of the ways in which you can play the healing grounds when it comes to using the life staff. Now the other thing about the life staff is it also helps with durability of fighting. Now when you're in a 2-man team and you're in a 4-man team, everything changes in format. If you're in a 5-man team, the format is quite simple. It's 1 tank, 1 healer, 3 DPS. It's always the best to run in that formation. The tank holds all the aggro, pulls everything in one place. DPS takes out all enemies, and tank keeps everybody else healer keeps everybody alive with the healing. Okay, so let's go into the build starting from the top for the healing build. Now the first one you have is Divine Embrace. It's a quick heal for 125% of weapon damage. Now the life staff can fire a projectile as a light or a heavy, and 125% of that damage figure is what you are going to heal by. So my healing staff heals me by about 425. It's a result of its high amount of skill that's in the healing staff, so it will keep me alive for a little bit longer in the case that I have to fight an enemy. It also can help with a lot of things, especially if you put your you're healing in the right class, if you use the right type of skills and abilities, it can outrank the other side. You just have to know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, sorry about that. I made it a little bit confusing. I was getting ahead of myself. I've scripted this a few too many times. So let's go for it, right? So Divine's Embrace is the first one. As you can see, it costs 25% of your mana. That's 1/4 of your bar instantly goes to it. This one here is 15, this is 15. Okay, so you can use these multiple times and this is really going to eat you out. Okay, the next one. Divine Embrace costs 20 mana. Now this here reduces 5 mana in cost. It means you can now do this here 5 times in a row if you're just going to use Divine Embrace. Now 120% of that weapon damage, I said 125 earlier by mistake, sorry about that. 120% times 5 is quite a big figure. That's a solid 600 healing, 600%. So if your fire figure is about 300, right, and you times it by 6, 300 times 6 is 1800 health. For a tank like myself, having something like this applied to me helps quite a bit. Obviously it isn't as helpful as other items you could deploy. It doesn't have as much effect as, say for example, the Sacred Ground, which is a 16% over 16% over 12 seconds. That makes it quite a large amount of healing. If you count it for 10 seconds, it's 160%. It beats this here, although the time on this here on cooldown is very fast. But it's also way heavier on mana cost. And if you count this up to the usage that you can go out of a single run, there is about 9 runs out of this entire Sacred Ground. So 9 runs of Sacred Ground for you while you're playing keeps everybody healed, keeps everything going steady. It's a good thing. Now let me just get back to this here and drop to the last 2 skills. Shared Struggle. If your target is below 50% health, heal 1 additional ally within 8 meters for the same amount. So if you have a heavy situation and everyone is taking heavy damage, you heal the person with the lowest amount of health, there is a chance that you're going to heal someone else near you. Now as you can see, this here says if your target is below 50%, heal 1 additional ally. So obviously it isn't a group heal, but it does target 1 extra, which makes a big difference. And last but not least, if the ally healed by Shared Struggle is below 50% health, heal another ally within 8 meters of that ally. So in other words, if you do this here with this skill, you now can heal up to 2 additional people. This here now becomes a very good skill. It means that 3 people can be healed instantly by this deployment, and I'm not sure if the rebound will keep going as ally by ally. So if you all have taken a lot of damage, this is going to put on quite a bit of healing. I'm not 100% sure about that. It could be the way that it works, could be wrong, so that's one of those things. Okay, moving on to the next part of this here, which is where things get a little bit gritty and get a little bit difficult to explain. Forming down the second path, which is Sacred Ground. Sacred Ground is one of the most used healing abilities. It's 16% for 12 seconds. If you count that as an extension, it is a massive amount of health. As I said, if you have good amounts of DPS, this becomes a crazy figure. If your skills are correctly crafted to a life staff, you can be looking at 3,000 to 4,000 in a heal from one of these Sacred Grounds. Okay, then the second one, Holy Ground. Regenerate stamina and mana 50% faster while in Sacred Ground. Now this is going to be a massive assistance to tanks, especially because tanks run out of stamina really fast, and if they can regain stamina 50% faster while they're inside the Sacred Ground, while they're taking a few hits, they can take those hits and their shield is going to go up really quickly. If you have a boss who's doing about 5k damage, 2 hits and then you can put your shield back up and count on the regeneration from the field to heal the rest. That's going to make a big difference to you. And last but not least, Blessed. Well, while allies are in Sacred Ground, they are healed for 50% more from all healing. So once they have entered into the Sacred Ground, example the tank situation, if you splash them, or if you Divine Embrace them, or if you hit them with Beacon, you're now doubling not doubling, you're increasing that heal by 50%. That's a big increase. If they take a potion, it's 50% more effective. You take a large potion, or sorry, not large, a infused potion, and instantly you're getting this massive bonus. That is one of the big advantages of Sacred Ground. Now let's go to the last one with Splash of Light. Now, Splash of Light, there is a reason why I'm going to say that this is a good one. You and all members within 100 meters are healed for 60% weapon damage. You can see that there are 100 meters, so you don't have to aim at anybody. You can be in a nice round circle, and one hit, everybody is getting a quick heal. Now, it's 60% of weapon damage, so it isn't the biggest, but it also isn't the worst, because this is everybody. This is times 5 times 60. As you can see, that's about 300% healing as a group total. This is still far more superior, but it is a good way to just splash it out. And the next one, Shared Recovery. For each ally healed that is below 50% health, you gain 5% of your max mana. So if you deploy this at the right time, you can instantly recover your mana so that you can now use Divine Embrace again and use Sacred Ground all over again. So those are the things which are going to help you. And the best part of this perk is Purify. Splash of Light also removes one debuff. Now, by it removing a debuff, this makes everything so much smoother for you as a player in one of these activities. Removing a debuff can take away slow, can take away any of those irritating little habits. And at the bottom comes the Divine Blessing. When you heal an ally below 50%, they are healed for 30% more. Now, obviously, this doesn't seem like all of these are going to take a massive hint from this, but let's go with that boss example at 5,000 a hit for someone like me. 2 hits will take me down to 3k. And all of a sudden, I put my shield back up. I'm in this. You hit me with Splash of Light. You hit me with Divine Embrace. I am going to heal 30% more of both these healings. Plus, you can also hit me with this to instantly pull me above 50%. And once this hits me, because I was below 50%, it takes the 50% buff. And that's 3 heals to pull me all the way to where I really want to go. Now, on the top of this, we have the side skills. This here reduces your cost for mana so that your attacks don't cost mana. Below that is Mending Touch. Heavy attacks now remove one debuff. If you put this here together and you keep passing it through allies, heavy attacks being used against bosses or irritating debuffing enemies, you're going to take off debuffs, deal damage to the enemy, and you're actually assisting your team to get a little bit better. Light attacks heal your allies. So if you pair these up correctly, you're healing your allies, you're taking out the enemy, you win 3 times with a single move. Now, I know that sounds a little bit crazy. Heal, attack, and you are also getting a little bit of a recompense for it because there's no usage of mana. So a free heal, 16% is quite a large amount. If you just keep spamming light attacks through, that can really add up quickly. It can be even more powerful than Sacred Ground since there is no mana cost. And there is another one. When you hit with light attack, reduce life staff ability cooldowns by 5%. So by doing this here, you now have 4 advantages. No mana cost, you healing your allies, you damaging the enemy, and you speeding up your abilities recovery. So that's 4 advantages to 1 effect in the single tree. Now, a lot of people don't realize these, but I'll explain them in a little bit, right? Also, this here is helping with this effect, so you get it. It can get really crazy. Enchanted Justice. When hit in battle, activate a healing aura for you and nearby friends in a 4-meter radius. Okay, so this is just something which is just a little bit extra. These are side skills. Them activating in the middle of a battle is an absolute win for the character. Doesn't have to be a win for everybody. And then the last one is Intensity. When you hit with a heavy attack, gain a stacking 10% bonus to healing effectiveness for 10 seconds. So if you take a heavy attack, now obviously I'm not going to suggest that you do it, but if you do that there, you can cast down one of these healing bubbles and take a lot of extra healing. You can do anything with the healing, and as you can see, it is a massive effectiveness. You have this being added, you have all of these little side perks to add to it. It makes a big difference. Desperate Speed: when you heal an ally below 50% health, the life staff ability cooldowns are reduced by 10%. And last but not least, Sacred Protection: when you're while holding a life staff, increase the amount of incoming healing to all friendlies in your group by 5%. Okay, let me just do something quickly and get back in there. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, so that is the overall aspect of the healing side. Now I'm going to talk about Protector, and then I'm going to do a quick finalized reason for where they are used and how they are used. Okay, now Protector isn't as complicated. We have Orb of Protection. Right, Orb of Protection grants you a quick heal, and it also gives you Fortify for several seconds. Protector's Blessing hits an ally, they gain recovery for 10 seconds. This is the healing that it gives you. Obviously, it's part of the tree. The next one, Shared Protection: if you successfully heal an ally with Orb of Protection, you also gain Fortify and Recovery, so you gain the same effect. And the last but not least is Aegeus. When this projectile hits, it shields all allies within a 3-meter radius. So you're actually using this to fortify people in a 3-meter radius. This is one of the best to use when you are assisting multiple high-end tanks in activities. So this is an elite run, a portal run type ability. The next one which I'm going to go through is Light's Embrace. This one I'm actually going to go through really fast compared to the other one. Heal targets for 80% weapon damage plus 30% more for each buff on the target. Right, you can see the mana cost on them. It doesn't really make a big difference. Inspire: when you heal a target with Light's Embrace, that target gains 25% stamina. Alright, Connection: when you heal a target with Light's Embrace, gain 2% of your max mana for each buff your target has. So for each buff that he has, that means if someone has improved their assault capabilities, their healing capabilities, all of that, you are gaining mana back for that particular reason. And last but not least, Magnify: when you heal a target with Light's Embrace, extend the duration of the staff buffs on the target by 2 seconds. Next one is Beacon. Right, Beacon is a cast on healing arena. Right, shoot out a light projectile that deals 146% weapon damage to enemies, attaches to target and heals all nearby allies for 16% weapon damage for 10 seconds. Now this is equal to Sacred Ground in a lot of ways, but with this particular skill it is mobile. That means it is a little bit better. It just doesn't have some of the bonuses that you will get. Infused Light: beacon area are now beacon's area of effect is now 50% larger. Radiance Blessing: beacon lasts 5 seconds longer. There is a massive increase to time. And Speed of Light: when beacon heals a target, it also applies a 20% haste for 3 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna go through this here after I've described all the skills. Bending Light: after a dodge, your heals are 20% more effective. Right, Defensive Light: when you block a melee attack, gain 5% max mana. Protector's Touch: Lifestaff, light and heavy attacks grant 15% fortify for 3 seconds when hitting an enemy. Fortify reduces incoming damage. Balance: when you get hit while below 50% health, gain 10% heals for 5 seconds. Glowing Focus: lifestaff buffs you grant last 20% longer. Protector Strength: if you have a buff, heal for 10% more. And last but not least, Spirits United: increase mana regeneration for you and group members by 3%. Now a lot of people make the following mistakes. They believe that Protector is not effective for healing at all. However, it is. But this is the one thing. Protector is effective when your team exceeds a 5-man count. You can use Protector solo. It will help you heal. It'll keep the heal on you. You can run up and down with it if you're using targeted healing. It has an effective range that is quite good. You see, all of these things are quite a big help for you. However, this is where they fall short. Their mana costs aren't that heavy, but they also don't have as many side perks as the previous class. The mana costs over here are quite heavy, but the side perks are unbelievably strong. They work well with the team and they help you as the healer. Now, I'm just gonna put on my life stuff over here because I'm gonna be doing some crazy solo stuff. 502. What weapon do I want to replace? Okay. So let's get back to it. So the life staff can be made to form as part of 3 builds. The Paladin. Paladin is a tank who uses healing. They use healing to extend the period in which they can face tank you. That's the way that a Paladin works. And the second one who can use it is a healer, right? So healer and Paladin are your 2 main people who are going to use this here. You do have the off healer, which is somebody who's going to do DPS plus heals. It's just something you throw down for an emergency situation. I'd suggest a protector for that situation instead of a healer, because healing in that situation, you're going to reduce too much of your DPS, your ineffective DPS, while protector is just there to extend your durations of combat. It allows you some time to get your healer up. It allows your healer to recover some mana. That's the whole idea behind Protector. You also are quite effective with your heals. Your abilities are not too low, they're not too high. You can afford quite a bit of help to everybody around you. That's the whole way that it works. Now, as for a Paladin, running the healing build is their primary function. Protector will not help them, because extending your fortify, you're already fortifying yourself, you're just reducing the amount of damage you're going to take. It might save you 2 or 3 seconds, but you have to keep recasting Protector to actually make a difference. Now, obviously, that's just the whole situation I'm talking about in terms of a single team. If you're playing in 2-man teams, the Paladin can run either one of these. It's going to make a big difference, because the DPS plus a healer plus a tank in a single situation makes a massive amount of opportunity for you. Your DPS in the situation will go pure DPS. He will not try to assist you with tanking, and he will make sure that his aggro is extraordinarily low. Okay, so that's about it for the main discussion on the live stuff. And I know that I'm trying to keep these videos as short and sweet as possible, but they take a bit of time to actually get through all of the explanations. Sorry about that. But here goes the last part of it. Playing a live staff is quite a fun role to play in the game, and I honestly find it enjoyable for the most part. Oh, I'm almost ready for what I am here for, to kill Lady Genevieve. Once she is dead and Little Simon's dead, I'm gonna be out of here. So yeah, that's the whole thing about it. As you can see, I'm using the life staff myself in the situation because it is a fantastic little assistant to me. You saw that there, I did 2 quick hits. I'm regenerating faster in the circle. That's the whole idea behind it. That heals everybody around in a nice big radius. Obviously, I didn't need to do that just yet. So yeah, that is the basics of this. I hope that you all do enjoy my build series. So this is just to help you with the off-tank Paladin build and the primary healer build. Remember, you can mix and match your perks, but when you mix and match perks, you lose those massive advantages like the 30% advantage I showed on that one skill. So catch you all in the next one, and have a good day.